Hiya, Nos Hyena here, and for today's video, I'm going to answer a question that has baffled the internet for ages. Is Jacksfilms a furry?
International Furry. What's your fursona?
Furries forever.
How destroy your heating bills? Do you struggle when trying to figure out how to put them on? Are mundane tasks like answering the phone now impossibly difficult?
2009 was a life-changing year for me. Firstly, I discovered Jacksfilms. His what the f blanket video was hilarious, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. But a more shocking discovery happened to me. I stumbled upon images of the furry fandom, and I was so excited and quickly succumbed to the furry lifestyle. Before I knew it, every waking thought was about furries. I spent every last cent I had on furry paraphernalia, and I ruined all of my relationships in my obsessive quest to become an anthropomorphic animal. My two greatest passions at the time, Jacksfilms and the furry fandom, remained separate until he started to reference furries.
A furry, blue furry convention, furry, and that 3 out of 5 furries.
And more, the wires crossed, and these two worlds collided. At first I was angry at Jack. I saw him as mocking me. How dare he make fun of my addiction and my suffering? But soon I quickly realized Jack was making no mockery of the furry fandom. He was in fact a struggling furry himself, with his videos and references to furry becoming him reaching a paw out for help. I can no longer see a fellow furry suffer, which is why in this video I am going to prove to you that Jacksfilms, once and for all, is definitely a furry, and I have 5 main points to prove this. Firstly, his use of furry lingo. YIF, fursona, fursuit, Fur Crush Friday. These are only terms that the most expert of furries would know, and yet Jack uses these terms so casually as if he spends a majority of his life looking at furry content.
All the same sports, but everyone has to compete in fursuits. I would watch that, yeah.
Well, I see you, Jack. I also see your lust and desire to live as an animal come out through your use of the dog Snapchat filter.
Furries forever.
Reason number 2 that Jack is a furry. His status as a furry adjacent. If Jack wasn't a furry, why does he spend so much time hanging out with furries? See here his tweet to Shane Dawson talking about fursuits. Jack also corresponds with that furry movie review guy, and Garfield. By closely associating himself with some of YouTube's most famous furries, he therefore proves himself to be a furry. And for extra proof, look at him take a $5 donation for his channel from myself, a full-blown, full-time furry.
Oh hell yeah, this guy says he's a furry. Check out my channel, I have 1 subscriber. Yeah, alright, check out Hyena, Nos Hyena.
Look at his smile as he says the word furry.
This is a furry, check out my channel.
According to Wikipedia, a smile indicates joy and other positive feelings. If Jack has so many positive feelings towards furry, maybe then is he a furry himself? And also, he is accepting money from a furry. We know that any reasonable non-furry would have declared publicly, "Out, damn furry, I do not accept your tarnished currency bestowed upon my channel." By not proactively banishing me, he only deepens his association and ties with the furry community, being a second absolute bombshell of proof that Jacksfilms is a furry. Proof number 3. Jack's hidden and coded messages that he is a furry. Jack loves to joke about hidden messages through acronyms.
Zoe. Zootopia opens everywhere in theaters this Friday.
But did anyone ever bother to decipher what Jacksfilms, an acronym, actually stands for? Jacksfilms, a content king's furry, Illuminati life, Murray stuff. So much for non-sexual furry week, Jack. And how about his even more secret messages? Remember what his What the Blanket parody is about? It's about the Snuggie. As Jack says in one of his tweets, flurries are only one letter away from furries. Well, very similarly, Snuggies are only one letter away from snuggles. And what do furries like to do in fursuits? They like to snuggle. So this is another coded, hidden message that Jack is a furry. You can't hide your true colors.
If you walk up to the swordsman, he cuts your pants off. It's a very funny, wonderful moment. I replay it over and over again. And I want to see her pants fall down.
Proof number 4, appearances at furry cons. If the last 3 proofs weren't enough to convince you, well, take a look at this completely legit, non-doctored photographic evidence of Jacksfilms at a furry convention. Here he is performing at a fursuit dance on stage. Here he is DJing the Friday night dancers at Anthrocon. And here is Jack headless as he takes a break whilst wearing his multiple fursuits. And if for some reason that evidence did not convince you, well, take a look at these testimonials from various furries who have spotted Jacksfilms at furry conventions.
Jacksfilms? Yeah, I totally saw him at the dealer's den at Anthrocon. Not that I was like an Anthrocon or anything.
That Jacksfilms guy, one time I saw him in the lobby organizing all the fursuiters into an architecturally correct replica of Big Ben, scaled down, complete with the clock.
See? Undeniable proof that Jacksfilms is a full-blown furry. He is one of us. And finally, proof number 5. Science. Science teaches us many things, such as how the moon is flat, how gravity doesn't apply to puppies, and why it pees when I hurt. Now, how can we use science to determine that Jacksfilms is a furry? Well, it's very simple. Science tells us that the people who make the most gay jokes are most likely to be gay. So by this logic, we can use science to say that Jack, by making the most jokes about the Emoji Movie, is actually the biggest Emoji Movie fan. And by making the most jokes about furries of any mainstream YouTuber, he is in fact the biggest furry. So with that absolutely shocking, genuine proof using hard science and rational logic and facts, we can say that Jacksfilms is a furry!
What's your fursona? Furry convention, 20 furry, and that 3 out of 5 furries.
So to you, Jack, I say, embrace your newfound furriness. Join us. Come to one of our conventions. There'll be fursuiting. There'll be more fursuiting. And you'll even see this guy. So Jack, if you're willing to embrace your furriness right now, please reach out. I will show you the furry ways. So that's all for this week. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I appreciate your viewership throughout the year, and I will catch you in the next year. Thank you to all my super secret patrons. I appreciate your open furry support of my channel. But until next time, I'm Nos Hyena. Bye!